Good evening. How are you? I do. I'm trying to
Tell you like you tell me now. You don't you put that you on your cell phone, you on your computer. I know we're trying to get organized. Make sure that everybody get on because we're live streaming on both YouTube and Facebook Live. I hear that. I hear you on Lavinda because I can hear it way down here. Don't scold it. Okay. So folks, we're on broadcasting live on Facebook as well as YouTube. So tell your friends and neighbors to join us and also to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook and everything. Lavinda, we have a special guest tonight, a lady that's been mingling and singling all of her life. And we're going to talk about the subject tonight about what women need to know about men. Okay, what women needs and wants to know about men. You think that's a Bible? So you think women want to know anything about men, Lavender? You do. Okay, well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And we got a guest tonight. Here's our guest, Miss Brenda. Hey, Brenda.
Hello, Brenda.
And Brenda she's in Pensacola. Uh, uh, Brenda told me that she's been single all of her life. Is that true, Brenda? You never been married before. Okay. Well, good. How, you know, I got a theory. Now, I'm telling you, Brenda, I got a theory about that when it comes to men. I don't know about when it comes to women, but I have a theory about it when it comes to men. When you see a man, I'm not going to ask you how old are you because I know you're not over 21, but I huh, don't get it. But think about it for a minute. I have a what I call it I don't want to be I call it, what do I call it? I call it broken goods. Lavender, you know what I'm talking about when I say when men uh damaged
Damaged
goods. Yeah, I can't even
goods.
think of my own
Damaged goods.
say think about damage. I said because when you get a man 50 years old, 40, 50, if he get past 30 years old and a woman hadn't hooked him, something must be wrong with him. That's just my theory on this. Okay. And I write about this in my book, okay, about why I think that. And like I said, some of it is backed up by data, but a lot of it is backed up on my inference, my life experience, and stuff like that, and what I see. And I might be wrong about it. But I want to know, well, I kind of think with women, it may be a little bit different because the supply line is a lot greater for women than it is for men. Okay, and so it's not uncommon to see more women, in my estimation. It's not uncommon to see more women that are single in mid-age than there are men because I believe the supply and demand. I believe because there are a lot more women available than there are men that are available based on that. But we're going to talk to you about that kind of stuff. Lavinda, you want to chime in on this because you always accuse of being trying to take over the show.
Oh, you have already taken over. I'm good. I'm good. But I do want to clarify, Brenda has never been married, but she has not been single all her life. You have had relationships, right? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, of course that I didn't mean to imply that you don't have relationships because I think just when we're saying single, that means you've never been married. That's how I define singles. You just never been married. Have you been close to marriage, Brenda? Okay, have been close to marriage. Okay, now from a woman that's never been married. Okay, and I got a section in my book about frogs. Okay, you know how many frogs you have to kiss before you find that prince. Okay, and so um, from your perspective, and you're a beautiful woman. Okay, how did you escape getting bent down with marriage? Yeah, well, I guess I'm saying escape. Yeah, I'm saying that because you're a good catch from a man's point of view. You would be a good catch, I would think, and
Or is
you
it by choice?
heavily.
Or have you decided not to marry by choice? You define it. Don't let Vernon define.
No, well, we gotta let you not
Hush,
define it
Vernon.
either.
Let her define her
You gotta say it by choice.
singleness.
Tell your story. Tell your story, Shipka. And what was some of the for the women out there that looking for a relationship and want to be married? What are the things that prevented you from hooking up, getting married, not hooking up, but getting married? Because I know these children can get technical with you young folks, but I don't necessarily hooking up, but prevented you from getting married. Okay. How close how close do you ever come to being married? Were you? Can you generally tell us what happened? Why you didn't go through with it? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Now that you bring up some very important points now, because I don't know how long of a courtship you had before he popped the question. A couple of years. Okay. So I'm sure you was excited about that when you first got into it. But I'm hearing your voice towards when by the time the big question was asked, you was less enthusiastic about it. Why? Why?
Yes.
Okay. What? Okay. Okay. I hear that. Okay. Whether I guess whether she's in jail or not, I guess that was immaterial. I guess, but isn't it the rule of thumb that you going to with this number of women out there? Isn't it natural to assume you're going to be competing? I mean, I guess that's what single life is all about, right? When I was a single man, yeah, that was a lot of women in my life, but I had to sit down and figure out which one I want to spend the rest of my life with. But yeah, I mean, that's naturally you're going to be competing. Am I? You didn't. Okay, uh, you don't think you should have to compete? Okay. When, so when did you find out about the woman in jail? That a shock to you when you found that out? Hmm. Right. Okay. So what I'm hearing then, from a woman's perspective, when you're dating, you are dating for for exclusivity. Is that is that fair to say? You just uh you was exclusive. Okay, let me ask you this, because I write about this in my book too, about if you're going to have a relationship. Okay, I think, and I write about it from when you read my book. If it ever comes out, I write it from a business perspective, because I was a business major. I wasn't a psychology major, business major. But it's the same thing. They got the same kind of parallels. Okay, when you go in partnership with somebody in a business, it's just like being married. But I just can't just get up and just be in partnership with somebody. I always have to we have to write this. We have to have a partnership agreement. We have to write things down and say, this is the way this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. This is what I advocate in my book, is that if you're intending to get into a serious relationship, it's okay if you're just dating, but if you in contemplating exclusivity, then maybe you need to have that talk, even not necessarily a written agreement, but kind of an informal talk about expectations, okay, so that nobody is surprised about what's happening. Okay, so you know that. Okay, but what did any of that happen? Doing, I mean, did y'all talk about that from the very beginning, and the thing that he kind of violated that thing that causes you to? Okay, all right. Hmm. Okay. Lavender, you sitting there looking like, wow. You had that talk when you got married, Lavender? I
I'm
didn't.
just so
I
proud
didn't.
of Brenda. I'm just so proud. I'm trying to contain myself from going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on the air, because you know what? You embody, Brenda, the other woman. That something that just wasn't right, that was that other woman speaking to you. And that is that voice that we ignore all the time. And when you said you just didn't want to settle, Vernon knows I can't stand that word settle, but that's what it is. We shouldn't have to compromise what we want. We shouldn't have to compromise who we are as a woman. Um, just knowing what you want, because I left a 20-year marriage because that other woman in me, just like you, something just isn't right. So you can settle for being happy, or you can settle for something that you really didn't want for the rest of your life. And you still got a lot of life ahead of you. So whoever is in your future, what a great thing that you did not get hooked up, involved, and tied up, tangled up, married to someone who you were not going to be 100% happy with. Because
Okay.
it's a lot of, no, we're not finished. It's a lot of women. It's a lot
Pour
of
me some of that
women
slapper.
who are in marriages with regrets, who are unhappy, and they just choose to settle. Okay, I'm finished. God bless you, Brenda.
Brenda, did you say earlier that you would love to be married?
She said she would want to be married one day. Yes, she did.
All right. Well, what do you say to those folks that think like me, that maybe if you listen to folks like Lavenda, you may have missed out on an opportunity of being married? How do you know at that point when he popped the question that he wasn't going to do the right thing? Were you Mm-hmm. Okay.
And be excited about it. Yeah,
Okay.
and be excited about it.
You wouldn't.
Wow. Wow.
Well, okay. Well, he ended up marrying her then. What? Okay. Okay. Maybe you did the right thing then. Okay, but that goes back to the original question then, is what do you want from a man? And when you look for to that, what do you want? What are you looking for?
Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it.
Now, is it possible? Now, just think about this for a minute. Is it possible that he did not send his representative? Maybe he did send himself, and you chose to ignore those red flags. Uh, is that a possibility? Yeah, you saw. Yeah, well, because you saw some red. I'm certain that you saw some red flags along the way.
But
About.
she was in love. She was in love. So when you're blinded by love,
Yeah.
you don't see red flags. They're all green. It's a go. All systems go.
Right. Hmm. Could Okay. Well, now, could it be that Lavender and I had a show, one of our first or second episodes of the show about platonic friendships and retaining friendships after relationships and so. Are you saying to me that you were certain that that was a he was carrying on a relationship with her, or he just carrying on a friendship with her? I guess it was serious enough for you to break off the wedding.
A locked box, a locked box. What the heck are you locking it for? You're locking it because you don't want anybody in it.
He,
But you
maybe
know
he was
that
trying
box.
to, maybe he was trying to spare her feelings. Well, we talked, Lavender. We talked even Saturday about a element of privacy. Everybody's entitled to a certain element of privacy. Okay, uh, Brenda, were those letters? Were those letters damaging? There was damaging letters. Okay, okay, okay.
That box is so symbolic, not just for men, but for all of us, because we all have a locked box that we don't want that person who we're interested in to know about. And we will keep it locked until the day we die. But when you get married, you get comfortable, and slowly and surely that box starts revealing the true character. It reveals all those secrets that were locked up. They got to come out one day, and good for you that you found that box before. My. I could write a book. I could write a doggone book.
Brenda. Brenda. So what is it? Were you looking? This is for the men's benefit as well, so they'll know what women are looking for in a man. And you want a husband. So what are you looking for in a man? Mm-hmm. Now, now let me ask you this question. Okay, I'm sure he's not the only man that you had in your life up to this point, right? Have you compared and contrast the difference in the men? Are they very similar in style? Huh? No, they all. I'm talking about in terms of the traits that what men do. Honesty, I got a dear friend of mine that's it always used to say that why lie when the truth will do. Honesty overall, I agree, is the best policy because when you're dealing in honesty, it will allow you to do something about it or not. Okay. Generally, you can find ways of handling a situation if people are truthful to you. And just like you said earlier, Brenda, that then let me have that option. Okay. Let me have that option. If you seen a woman in prison, well, tell me about seeing that woman in prison so that if I still want to see you, then that's my option to do that. But I think when people don't share those kinds of things with each other, that's when the deception comes in. That's where the mistrust comes in as well. But now, there are going to be some givens in life, okay, that you're going to have to be able to accept. One of the things that I write in my book is about my 80-20 rule. Okay, and I know men gonna lie to you. You got to have to willing to accept certain amount of that. Okay, now if everything about that man was 80%, in line was that 20%. Okay, that's what I say to people about that 20%. Whatever that 20% you don't like, you're gonna have to be able to live with it or not. If you're not gonna be able to accept that 20%, if you can't accept lies, then you did the right thing, and you weren't able to accept those lies. So you did the right thing, moved on because you would never that relationship would have never worked going forward. But if it's one of those things, maybe it wasn't lies, maybe he was a smoker, okay, but you didn't want him to smoke, but compared to everything else, you could live with that. You could live with that. And so you probably said, okay, I marry him. I'll try to work on him about smoking. I'll try to change him. That's one of the things we always talk about too in the book. About don't ever go into any relationship with the expectation of changing anyone because the chances of you changing anyone is almost zilch. You might have some influence on them, but who you are is where you were when. So you're not going to change. So if you go into that relationship, go into it with the idea of knowing that you're not going to change whatever you like. So going with the understanding that you're going to be able to accept or live with that kind of. But my question
Vernon,
back to you, yes.
we got a single man that would like to chime in.
Okay, very
Um,
good.
Alonzo, did you have a question? Because he's saying that he disagrees with something. Write your question in the
Does he
comments,
want to call?
Alonzo.
Does he want to call in or call in? We can video him in. I can give a number here. Lavenda, that he can chime in if he's on his computer or on his phone. Uh,
Let me hear back from him and see.
if
Alonzo, if you're listening, let me know what you want to do.
if he wants to do that number there, right? Or either
See, I
that.
don't see that number. He's on YouTube, Vernon. He's on my YouTube, so he's
Number
not
is
seeing everything.
okay. Tell them to call in 850-293-5007. Okay. You know that number, though. I know, right? So if you want to call in, I haven't. I have to experiment with
Say
calling
the
in.
number again. Say the number again, Vernon.
850-293-5007. That's the call-in number.
Oh, 293-5007.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just testing with that right now to see if we can get folks to call in, and hopefully, if they can call in, maybe I can get them in over the phone. Okay, but we'll try that and see. That's the call-in number there. But if he got questions, he can go on the chat line, right, and chat it to you if they got questions about any of the stuff that we talked about so far. But Brenda, okay, now what I was leading to is the fact that when women, I'm trying to get into the heads of women. Okay, I'm trying to understand from your point of view what you want from a man. Now, given some facts, now just give us facts of being human. Okay, give us knowing that when you go into any kind of relationship, you use those magic words yourself about sending your representative. Everybody trying to send their representative, they put their best foot forward initially.
I think that's the most difficult thing for anyone to do, is to be true to thine own self. I think that is very difficult for us to truly be who we are. I think more so for men than for women, but that's my opinion.
Now, Brenda, there's also, you know what they always say, right? Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? Now, women play games as well, okay? Now, what games did you play? Be honest now. When there was a series of games that you played? Yeah, with him or with anybody. It doesn't matter what I'm talking about. When you're into a relationship with somebody, when you first meet somebody, in sending their representative, don't you send your representative initially? You don't know who. Why lie anyway? Why lie when the truth would do? Okay, Lavenda, take this call. You go and take it over. I got another call coming in here. I want to see if one of our folks.
Take what call? Take what call?
You go ahead and you go ahead and talk to Brenda.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So Brenda. Okay. So Brenda, Vernon asked the question, what are you looking for in a man? I don't think you're looking, actively looking.
Hang on.
We all want
a minute.
he's still talking.
I want to see if I can get you on the
that, and you've said that over and over again, to be honest. Just be honest. Just be who you are. And for whatever reason, men have a difficult time. Maybe they feel like they have to measure up. Maybe they feel like they have to, I don't want to say put on a mask, but put their best foot forward when they really don't have a best foot.
You're going to be a challenge.
What did you say? Don't put 3 in.
Hey, Alonzo, let me ask you this. Do you by any chance you got a computer? Laptop? Okay, what about your phone? Can you call in your phone? You got a smartphone?
Right, right. And you're not asking for anything that any other woman
I want you to go
wants.
do a video
Vernon,
call.
we still hear you.
Okay.
Vernon, can you kill your audio?
Yes, vmix. Say vmixcall.com.
Oh, well, I can hear.
Let me get back in there. And I'll
But
give
as
you a
I was
number.
saying, you know what? There are quite a few single men watching tonight. So I'm glad he has Alonzo to try to call and to get someone else's opinion besides Vernon's opinion. But there are some eligible, honest, hardworking men out
So we hang it. Let me
really are. It's just a matter of let life happen. Because I feel like if you look for them, you're going to find the wrong thing anyway. But if you just let life happen, you just never know. Love always comes in the most unexpected times and places. And places. So Vernon, can you hear me? I hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
I hear you too. I hear the whole conversation.
And I'm trying to
Yeah,
send
we
him
heard.
we can call in. You want to call in? You want to get him call in on the video call, okay?
Okay. Okay.
So we see if we can get him in on the video call. But I can't.
Pressured by us.
Huh?
I wonder if they feel pressured.
I think they do. How can you not, especially with the media shows, and they even have a what's that movie? What Women Want. You know, society has put in our heads what we want and how men display who they are. They're always shown messing up all the time. They're always shown cheating or lying. It's like, are there any good men out there? But for whatever reason, society does not portray those men.
Plenty good men out there.
Oh goodness.
All right. Well, that was Alonzo. He was trying to call in. I would have to have a little more experience about trying to make the telephone calls coming in. And I thought I was going to be able to do it, but y'all weren't able to hear him on the phone. So I'm giving him the video call, and he should pop in. Hopefully everything works out. He should pop in just a few minutes.
He's actually from Boston.
Is he? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he was in Pensacola. He lived in Pensacola for years.
Okay. Now, what y'all was dogging me out while I was talking to Alonzo?
Actually, no, we weren't. And you know what? I'm glad you said that. For whatever reason, men think when women get together, we dog women out, or we're men haters because we don't settle. But we do realize that sometimes it takes a good woman to bring out the best in a man. You know, sometimes he has to meet that right woman before he says, okay, I need to get my act together. I need to be who I am. But to just, I can't say it enough, how I'm so happy that you listened to the other woman. I'm going to have to get you to write an article for the Other Woman magazine, honey, because women need to hear. Women need to hear that. So are we waiting on a...
No, well, y'all continue. Don't see, Lavender, you get so focused on when you just can't think no more, can you? You just don't mind. Let me mind my business here.
Question. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to get him in there. Don't stop the show. Don't stop the show because of me. I'm trying to get Alonzo in here. That's what I'm trying to do. Brenda, what would you? Okay, when Alonzo had called, I was questioning the fact is, what do you want out of a man? What do women like you basically looking for? I know you know what you want personally, but I know you've been around enough single women, and I know y'all had these conversations about there's no good men. Because I hear them all the time. There's no good men. You got any good friends? You know.
Well, that's what we were talking about.
What is a good
That's
man?
what we just discussed. Go ahead, Brenda.
Mhm. Okay. Now, but that's a double-edged sword. Okay. Nobody is ever completely honest. How honest do you? Okay. Okay. Can you give me a case in point about the types of lies that you cannot accept? Yes, you cannot accept that. The ones that will make the difference. You know, everybody lies about some. You know, we write about that in the book too. There's different kinds of lies, and I always say there are, and they call them the white lies. I don't call them the white lies. I just call them protected lies. Some people lie to you to protect your feelings, to protect themselves, and so forth. Then there are other lies out there that people that or other folks' lives. Okay, so knowing that, so what types of lies that is unacceptable to most women? Hmm. Right, right. Okay, what do you say to that man that says, Brenda, I am in a relationship with another woman, but I met you at First Friday, right? And you the woman of my eye, okay? And now I want to get to know you, I got a woman. What are you gonna? He's not gonna tell you that out of fear that you knowing that he has another woman that you might reject him. So he gonna send that representative. He gonna lie to you about it and says, no, I ain't got no other woman, and so forth. How would you deal with that? I understand your point. Now your point is well taken. I advocate that. And I advocate that in my book. It is just better to be truthful up front because you're gonna lose them one way or the other, right? Okay, or are they gonna accept it one way or the other? Okay. Mhm. Can I can I ask you a hypothetical question? You don't have to answer it, but it's going back to your situation. Okay, had that man told you when y'all met that he has an ex-girlfriend or a friend that's in prison that they've been communicating with, and da 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 da, and would it have made a difference at that point in your life with him? Would you continue that relationship with him or continue talking to him? Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Okay. Now, have you ever come? That I know that was years ago, right? Have you ever come close again to marriage? Okay. Let me ask you this then, because I write about this in my book as well. I know people when they go through relationships, and sometimes they get hurt in relationships, and I coin it as PTSD, but I got another name for it, like romantic post traumatic syndrome. Okay. Do you think it impacted future relationships that you might have with men? That situation impacted you with? Did you carry it over? Mhm. Okay. Okay. All right. What would you tell other women about? Mhm.
Somebody out there that's gonna make you happy, or you're gonna be happy with that person. You don't have to tell and
Yeah. Happy marriage, right? Okay. Yeah, I do get that. Have you ever heard of the pimp mentality? Ah, say again. Well, it's just a way. Um, I write about this too. Way men, I think, have a false sense of security about women. They got this idea that you know how a pimp treat a woman, and how he gets her, and that kind of stuff. That was a book. Iceberg Slim wrote this book years ago about that, and back in the '60s, and it kind of been an anthem for black men when they read that book. He didn't write it for that reason. He wrote it for the opposite reason. But when men read that book, they somehow come to believe that in order to get a woman and to keep a woman and to control her, but you have to control them like pimps do their women in their stables. And I'm telling you this so you can kind of understand the mentality of a man and how men have been socialized, and so you can kind of get into the heads of why do we think the way we think about certain things, how we are educated about certain things. Lavinda always gets on me about always saying that I always say everything's about sex, and she said everything is not about sex. Okay, well, maybe not from a woman's point of view. Okay, now I know you have that a lot in your experience because sex always be the big elephant in the room if it's not the elephant in the room, right? Sex is always that hanging out there. Okay, for men. Okay, now for women, it may be a little different. Okay, y'all looking for love. I think you on for the most part, y'all looking for love, and you're looking for love for the
What
most
else is
part,
there
right?
to look for? What else is there to
Sex,
look for?
love,
Oh,
sex.
please.
See, so but Brenda, I think you're more realistic in your thinking. You saying both, and that's right. That's a good answer. That's a great answer. But I think from a woman's, you tell me from a woman's from a man's point of view, when he meets you, first thing he gonna think about is sex. Like I always say in my book, I said when men look at women bottom up. Women look at men from top down, and so they have a whole different perspective of what they're looking for. When you're looking for a man, are you looking for sex? Or are you looking for somebody that you can be more compatible with you and more love kind of thing? Or is it sex? Okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough. That's a fair enough answer to that. We're having trouble trying to get Alonzo in. He said he tried everything. He can't get in. If Alonzo listening, try to call me back on the phone. Only try it for the phone again. I don't understand why.
I sent him an email.
Huh?
I sent him an email. I sent him an email to StreamYard also. Maybe that'll work. You won't be able to. You might be able to see him.
Or maybe you can pick him up on pick him up on StreamYard. Same thing. We can still get him in there, right? See if he calls StreamYard.
I just sent him an invite. I sent him an invite. Okay. We'll see if he can get in.
Because he obviously got some things to say. And I would love to. I want to.
He's never been married.
Yeah.
He's never been married before either.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
So I know quite a few. Alonzo, you said not true. You have? I didn't know. Well, I don't know what the not true is. Alonzo, have you been married before? And Alonzo, check your email. I sent you an invite to get on another platform. Oh, he says, all men don't think like that. Yeah, see, that's why we need another man for another point of view. Alonzo's different. Alonzo has got to be one of the most, sensitive, loving men that I know. I know a lot of good men, a lot of good single men, but Alonzo is, how can I explain it? Women will take advantage of Alonzo. Alonzo's here. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring him in.
Yeah, I see him on StreamYard, but
okay, well.
Yeah. See, I love you, brother. Lavender. See, yes. You got to be careful because guess what he's wearing?
A wife beater.
A wife beater.
Alonzo. Now I said all those good things about you. I said all those nice things about you, Alonzo, and you're gonna show up.
It's hot. So that's why
Alonzo.
I got on a tank top. It's not a wife beater. It's called a tank top. Okay.
You wear what you want to wear, Alonzo. You wear what you want to wear.
Now it's time to get into what I really want to talk about.
Okay.
Bernie, I love you, brother, but all men don't think like that. All men don't think like that. All men is not after sex. All men wanna feel love just like that woman wanna feel love. And what I talk about also is a lot of men are afraid to show emotion. They think they always got to be masculine. They think they always got to be the alpha male. It's a time to be an alpha male, and it's a time to be the beta male. You can't always be alpha in a relationship especially if you're trying to establish a relationship.
So what are you saying? Send the representative?
Huh?
What are you saying? Send your representative?
You are your own representative. Can't nobody validate for you but you.
Did you hear that, Brenda? Say it again, Alonzo.
Maybe. Can't nobody validate for you but you. You the only one can speak for your love because it's your heart, it's your emotion. Just like I tell a lot of people, on a lot of my Facebook live feeds. Can't no woman tell me how to love them. At that point, my love is not real if I'm loving them the way they want me to love them. Anybody should accept your love the way you know how to love. If anybody demands you to love them the way you love them, or the way they want them to love you, then your love for them is not real.
But Alonzo, everybody doesn't receive love the same way. We've talked about this on previous Wind Down Wednesdays.
Oh yeah. And the reason people don't know of love because they never experienced it.
Real love.
They never experienced real love, so they don't know what to expect. They don't know how to love because they never experienced it.
Okay, that's a good question. That was the subject of last week's show about what is love. How do you know what real love is as opposed to pseudo type of a love?
To me, you will know real love when you come in contact with it, because with every fiber in your being will like tingle and light up. You know what I'm saying? You will be, you will be conscious of it, trust me. You know what I'm saying? And most people mistake love.
We're breaking up a little bit,
You get that? What part did you get? I said most people mistake lust for love.
Okay.
You know, and how you can experience and how you know you got real love is when every fiber in your being is tingling and you will know it, you know, because you will be drawn to each other, not just sexually, but intellectually.
So how would they physically, other than sex is a part of love, because that's why I guess they call it love making. But other than sex, what are those traits, those characteristics one should expect to look for when one is in love? In your estimation, in your opinion?
To me, the first one is integrity and gratitude towards one another.
Okay. Good points. Good point.
You know?
But hold on just a second, Alonzo.
Yeah, because you got to have integrity. Huh?
Hold on just 1 minute. I want to get back to Brenda. Brenda, I want to get Brenda's perspective on that as well. Well, what's your perspective on that, Brenda? He said integrity. I do agree with him 1,000%. Okay. So how do you know what's real and what's not? Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe time will tell. Yeah. Yeah. How do you know what's real and what's not? Yeah. Okay. Okay, look, Lonzo, go ahead and continue. I just want to get Brendan's perspective on that.
Yeah, when I was hearing you talking to, I couldn't hear her. I still can't hear her. But based on what you was telling her, I was disagreeing with a lot of things you were saying on certain levels. You know, like when you said that all men look at women for sex. That is not true.
Okay, but I want you to keep in mind, because you hadn't probably heard everything I said. I don't deal in all. I got a rule. I say my rule is an 80-20 rule. Okay, I'm saying based on my experience, based on what I know, based on men I know,
There you
I'm
go.
80% of
Okay,
them.
I didn't hear that part.
Okay,
I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, there's always a 20% in everything.
Yeah.
More or less, okay.
Yeah.
And so there are
Yeah.
20% of them. Okay.
Okay. I respect that because it's coming from another perspective, experience. You see it in that 20%.
Say that again, Alonzo, because you were breaking up.
I don't know what it is. I know it ain't my Bluetooth. No, I said I understand what you was talking about because you seen it from a first-hand point of view. That's why you gave that percentage because of what you experienced and what you
Right.
see.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have the same experience. All in your out of your assessment, what do you think? What are your percentage you give the men that think that sex over love? Okay. What are your percentages?
I don't want to give a percentage. I don't want to give a percentage because I don't know the thinking of everybody.
Right. I'm
what
just
I'm
talking about
And
the guys that you've been
I don't
around
know.
over your life, your life, the guys that you hung around with from boyhood on up. I'm just give a generalized perspective of what boys talk about and what men talk about. Okay.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said boys and men. I'm glad you said that. Most men that I know don't go after sex. But all the boys I know, that's the first thing they want. There's a big difference between boys and men.
But that's what you know, Lonzo. Now you've just being political with that. That's just not a true statement. You're just being political because it sounds good to say that. Boys, it's the same thing.
Because
you've been
once you get a certain age,
Lonzo. Hold on a minute, Brenda. Go ahead, Brenda.
But attraction is not sex. Attraction is not sex. Even women, we are physically attracted to them, but we're not thinking sex all the time.
I don't think anybody thinks sex all the time, Lavinia. Keep it in perspective, okay? Keep it in perspective. What we're saying. We're talking about majority of how men
all the time.
Y'all can reject what if you want to. That's okay. But I'm just telling you from the men that I've been around, the men that I know what they talk about. Okay, and I'm not trying to be politically correct about it either. I know what we talk about.
And that's the difference.
Whatever you want to call them. But the fact of the matter is, sex is premier, is on their mind. And Brenda knows what I'm talking about. She can attest to exactly what I'm saying. As being a single woman out there, you don't have to be a single woman, but that's okay. But I just want people to understand that there's a different mentality from a man than it is from a woman. Don't go in with the expectation that y'all looking for the same thing. You're not looking for the same thing often, okay? More time than often, you're not. So that's why you have to communicate. And let's talk about what is it that you want out of this relationship. If it's sex, maybe both of you may be good with it. If it's love, maybe both of you might be good with it. There's a combination of it, maybe be good with it. But don't go in with the idea, just a single idea that this is going to be for love. You thinking she thinking it's only going to be for love, and he's thinking it's only going to be for sex and that kind of thing. Let's keep it real.
That's what communication comes
But
in.
If it's a relationship, the love and sex go together, right? You're not going to have one without the other.
Absolutely.
You got to get to that point. You got to develop.
Yeah. So I wasn't taking it out of perspective. I wasn't saying that men don't think about sex. I believe that. But that 20%, it might be even less than that. Like I said, Alonzo's just different from what I know. But most men, they do think of sex. But I think the love and sex go together.
Yeah, it does go together because, like you said, Lavin, you can't have one without the other. You know, because to me, I'm just gonna talk about me because I can't talk about nobody else but me. See, me, when I approach a woman, I don't approach her for sex because if we dig in each other, the sex gonna come eventually. You know, I want to make love to her mind. That's the type of person I am.
What's that word, Vernon?
Yeah.
Sapiosexual. He is a man that's attracted to the woman's intellect.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
word, sexual, what you call it when you in love, when you attracted to somebody.
Sapiosexual.
Yeah, sapiosexual. That's the name of it. Is that's what you do? You
Oh, I just learned something new. Y'all just taught me something new.
what
That's
is
because
it?
I'm sapiosexual.
Okay.
And the definition is
Even
sapiosexual finds intelligence sexually attractive or arousing.
yeah.
Physical. Yeah. Yeah, you're a philosophical man.
And Lavender. No wonder so many women fall in love with me. I just never knew that. Wow. Y'all, you know what they say? You know what they say, right? You say men that bald headed in the front, they are thinkers. Men that bald headed in the back, they're lovers. And the men that bald headed in the front and back just think they're lovers.
Okay, I learned something new tonight. Put that in the book.
Well, I didn't say my 2 cents, so I don't got nothing else on
Well,
this.
thank you for
topic
chiming in,
unless-
Alonzo. Thank you for chiming in.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Alonzo. We
Oh,
appreciate
yeah.
Where are you at,
You
Alonzo?
know what my thought?
Where are you
Huh?
at? Where are you at? Where you located?
Oh, I moved from Pensacola to Boston.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're a Pensacolian,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah. Next month I've been up here a year.
Okay. Up to Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Okay. Where you park the cars. You ever park your car there?
You gotta park the car.
You got to park the car. Okay. Well, thank you. Well, thank you for chiming in. That's what we want for because we won't.
Oh yeah.
Me and Brenda argue enough about stuff. Folk get tired of us disagreeing, arguing. We want real people opinion out there that's out there in YouTube. Have you been married, Alonzo?
Oh,
Okay, you have been married. Okay, but are you
No.
currently? No, you say no.
No.
Oh, she
No.
said no. No, you never been married.
No,
Okay, let
I've
me-
never been married.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said that because I asked Brenda the same thing about all of these women out there, good-looking women out there. How did you escape marriage and why?
Well, I'm gonna be. You want me to? How deep you want me
The
to
short
go with it?
version, Alonzo. Alonzo has a book coming out
Okay, the
this
short-
year. Also, don't tell the book. Don't tell the
The-
book. Give them the short version of
Short
why you
version.
didn't.
The short version is how I escaped because most women put a high standard. Most women looking for a type of man,
Uh-huh.
and most men are looking for a type of woman. So if you only looking for a type of person, you're not going to find love. So that's the short version.
That's a short version.
I can't.
In other words,
I can't.
in other words,
I
are
can't
you
get
saying
to because just reminded me I can't get.
so? In other words, because you start off saying that they set the standards too high? Are you saying that?
Yeah, women set standards too high because they are what word am I looking for? They part of this, most women are part of this feministic movement that's going on today in this century. You know, women can be so independent that they gonna miss out on true love. They always talk about they don't need a man for this, they don't need a man for that.
No, that's
That's
not
why
me at
most,
all. That's not
huh?
me at all.
I'll
Don't put
just
that
throw a
out
rock in
there. It might be some single men out there listening. Don't tell that lie on me. That is not me.
Oh, stop
Shit.
it. I didn't say you.
Boy, I can throw a rocket in the house.
I
Go
said
ahead.
most. My apologies, Lavenda.
But I think though,
But yeah,
okay. Hold on,
no,
Alonzo.
go ahead.
Brenda, when you said that women standards too high, I heard Brenda grunt. Brenda, what did you when he said that, you reacted. You might have did it involuntarily, but you did. And I can play the tape back to prove it. So what so do you agree with that y'all set your standards too high?
No, that was me laughing, Brenda. That was me laughing.
What she say? What Brenda say? Because I can't hear Brenda. What was Brenda's response? Because I can't hear her.
She said she thought that was you, that was Lavendo that reacted. She said, what you said, she wanted you to hurt you about that because of what, Brenda? I could. She said you trying to make love to somebody's mind. She will work on that later. She trying to make love to something else. I like how you think, Brenda. I love how you think.
We can do that too. If that's, see me, I'm like a chameleon. I adapt with my environment.
Well, now you're slacking on me now. See now. Wait a minute. Hold on. What is it? You're gonna be a chameleon. Okay, you should have said that from the beginning. I'm a chameleon.
No, I said I can adapt to my environment. If I'm here to please, if that's what my queen wants, that's what she's gonna get. But that's not what I'm after.
Okay.
Initially.
At what point you stop making love to the mind and start wanting to make love to the body?
You will know when it's time. You will know when it's time.
If it was truly what you're saying, making love to the mind would be all you need. You don't need to make love to the body. Let Jordan help you with that.
You need me to answer for you, Alonzo. Alonzo, you want me to answer for you?
Go ahead, because he don't want me to go there.
Okay. The sapiosexual is immediately sexually attracted to the mind. That's just the initial attraction. That doesn't take away the fact that they want that physical sex also. That's just the initial attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if she can stimulate my mind and I can stimulate her mind, physical sex gonna be that much more better.
Yes.
Because you exchanging energies at that point.
Okay, you
don't want to get on that level though right now. You know what I'm saying?
No, interesting that you say that, because I write about that in my book of love, about the difference between the two. There is a difference between having sex and making love. Okay, and that's the title of it. Having sex, are you having sex, or you making love? So if you ever been in love, you know the difference. If you haven't been, maybe it's just sex to you. Brenda, can you bear me out with that one? Is that the difference between making love having sex. There's a big difference. She agreed that's a big
There's a
difference.
big difference.
What
Just
about
like there's a big difference. Just like there's a big difference in loving someone and being in love with them. There's a
right?
difference to that also.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We had talked about that early on in the other show about the difference between loving someone and being in love with someone. There obviously are
Mhm.
differences between the two. So, okay. Now, given that fact, Brenda, I want to get back to you for a second. Given that fact, what that you did not agree with Alonzo about? She don't remember. Okay, that's good. Maybe you don't.
It was about men thinking. Alonzo was saying all men do not think about sex when they immediately see a woman. But I was saying this.
Lavender and Brenda. I'm Brenda. When y'all say that, I get the same feeling when a white person walk up to me and say to me, "I don't see race." Black as my ass is, they kind of tell me they don't see race. They do see. They don't want to admit it. Same thing. A man might not want to admit that they won't sex, but that's on the forefront of their minds. I'm just telling you the way it is.
I believe that too. I'm on.
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
why you
not,
keep thinking that I don't believe that. I
but
believe that also. I
yeah,
was just
because
trying
I'm
to
gonna be honest
state.
with you. Subconsciously, yeah, I can see that. Vernon, I would have to agree with you because subconsciously, yeah, what men want, but to when you approach that woman, you can't. All women might want that, but I mean, most women might want that, and most women think it will be disrespectful to come at them for sex initially,
Right. I
and
think
that's the way I look at it. I don't want to disrespect no woman.
I don't think most men crude enough that there are some, like I say, we give the numbers in, but most men, even if they have sex on their minds, they're gonna be smooth enough not
Yeah,
to make it that obvious.
yeah, yeah.
So they want to get it. You're right. And she's right. So they're gonna play this game with you until they can get what they want. And then after that, then maybe they'll move on, and maybe not. Maybe they just can. As long as you continue to have
And
sex, that's fine.
now I will say this, Vernon, and you being a man can vouch for me. Most men, not all men, once they get what they want, they change.
Yeah. Well, they got it.
They,
I got a saying about Lavender know me. I got a saying about everything. She knows my leopards don't change the spots. I said they'll hide them until they catch their prey. Okay. Once they catch the prey, then they become a leopard again. Okay. So leopards don't change the spots in so many ways. You're right about that. And that's what people have to be cautious about. And that's one of the things I did write about that too in my book. But you got to go into a relationship knowing what I'm saying. Don't go into a relationship blind. Go into it knowing the fact that my grandmama used to say, always expect the worst, but hope for the best. Okay. And so don't go into it blindly and naively believing that everything is for love. No. Always have that cautious eye that it may turn south on you, so that you don't
yeah,
help you down the road with what I call H&D. That's hurt and disappointment. Okay, and that's the difference between people getting mad in a relationship. When they're not mad, they're hurt and they're disappointed, and that hurt and disappointed is worse than being mad. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
oh, most definitely. Yeah.
What do you say, Brenda? Absolutely. When people disappoint you, and it's really it's painful when you get the disappointment that I think that leads to that hurt, and that's what I talk about in my book about this hurt and disappointment. There's three elements of that. I call it hurt, disappointment, and when you don't, you get this feeling that people don't want to be bothered with you. You know what I'm saying? And so it all leads down that road. What they defined years ago about there's a thin line between love and hate. Okay, you got to be careful about that, because that is the thinnest of a line. People in love with you, they can hurt you, both psychologically and physically. They'll hurt you. So that's why you cannot play with people's minds. Okay, when you start playing with their mind, in that, Lavender get me when I say when they play with your heart. It ain't nothing but a muscle, Vernon, just your head. But when they play with your head or you play with your heart, it comes to affairs of the heart, then you got to tread some dangerous line, because that could cause some real serious issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure can. Brenda, you said something earlier. I lost my train of thought when we was talking about the hurt and disappointment thing. You were gonna say something about that. You mentioned something about that. Something you said that triggered something. When I kept talking, I forgot now what it was.
Well, I'm gonna continue to listen, but I gotta go take care of something. Okay. I'm gonna continue to listen.
Thank you, Alonzo. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, Alonzo.
Now, how do I leave? Oh, I can't.
Just leave.
Down here say leave. Okay.
Just leave.
All right.
Okay. All right. That's it. Lavender, damn, time flies. You know, we ain't got about 10 more minutes in this show. You know that? Oh, wow. Okay. Let me turn Alonzo down since he's gone already and get my mic back up. Now, can y'all hear me better now? I know you can hear me now. Brenda? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Lavender, we got any side messages? I hadn't checked mine to see.
Oh my goodness. I've read all mine. Well, we've had some. Yeah, we've had some. I just it was hard to get them in.
Okay.
There is another single guy that we probably might want to have on, since we had a single woman have another single guy. He wrote an article in the magazine. Just can't seem to find that good woman.
Oh, he can't find a good woman?
Yeah.
Maybe because their expectations are too high. You don't think so? Well, that's what Alonzo said sometimes. Okay, listen, ladies, will y'all agree with this or not? I want you to listen to me, okay? Because you're getting it from the head of a man. A lot of men think that way. A lot of men think, and I hear women say this all the time. You know, I want this and that. He got to have $1 million, and I want a rich man, and that kind of stuff. I mean, be realistic about it now.
Brenda just wants honesty. And I think she's speaking for most women. The majority of women truly just want honesty. They want truth. They want, no games. When you get a certain age, you get tired of the games.
Can we get real here for a minute? Okay.
We already real. Go ahead.
If that was true, we wouldn't have a conversation tonight. Okay. Y'all know going in that there's a lot of games going to be played and a lot of dishonesty is going to be there. You're going to have to learn how to manage that situation. Okay. Men are not going to automatically overnight become honest. We've been at this game for years. I mean, since Adam. Okay. And women do the same thing. I don't know why they put the rap on the men, but women, and in my theory about women are always 2 steps ahead of men, they are. They play more games, but they're just a little smarter about how they play their games than men. So they all play games, okay? But you're going to have to learn how to manage it. So I think it's unrealistic to expect all those kinds of things. I think you're going to have to work. All those kind of
things like truth. That's what we said, honesty.
Right. Yeah. You're going to have to, Brenda, I think truth and everything else is probably is going to be earned throughout the relationship. I think on both sides, if your boy would say, you get good people on both sides, but you're gonna have to earn that trust, just like any other kind of trust. You have to earn the trust of folks. Folks not going to be, and for various reasons, okay. And just like you said before, they might not want the chance of losing you. And I'm interested in knowing the end of the story about the man that you was engaged to, that you decided not to, but he ended up marrying your best friend. But you know, the interesting point is he did not marry the lady unless your best friend was laid in jail. He did not marry her. Okay, so could it? So you see that she might have not been the real problem? Maybe the best friend was the real problem. Maybe you're looking the wrong way. I don't know. He left bills and he left you with bills and roaches. But go ahead. Being the real problem, maybe the best friend was the real problem. But my point is, I keep my earphone in my ear long as I can hear you back. My point is though, you in that relationship mainly based on her, but they still didn't get together. So, not that you know. Well, obviously, did he marry? Is he married now? Okay, okay. So, but he never married. He never married her, right? Okay. So, you sure they did what after the fact? Well, I know, but how serious was it though? They may have had a platonic relationship. Okay, can I turn the shoe on the other foot for 1 minute? Okay, just for 1 minute, okay, and see how you will react it the same way. You met this guy of your dreams, okay. You had a friend that you met before him. He happened to be locked down. I guess they said locked up. But he happened to be locked down. Okay, he was locked down. You continue to communicate with him throughout his lockdown. But this is the man that you really want, the one that you met. But you're just not going to kick your friend to the curb just because he locked down. Now, would you been honest with him the same way? You probably wanted to. You probably tell me how would you handle it if the shoe was on your foot? Okay, so what are you saying to me? You sending out mixed messages now. Are you saying that you would have dropped your friend in jail altogether? Or are you saying you wouldn't have told your new friend about it? What would he do? Go do conjugal visits or something? What are you talking about? She was locked down, huh? Or you using like Lonzo, he was making love to her mind, right? How do you know that? How do you know that was in love though? I know. Did he love her or was he in love with her? Well, how come he didn't marry then? How come he didn't marry?
She was in
Well,
jail.
she got out of jail at some point, right? Now she's still in there. Well, he wanted you, but you refused him because he had friendship with her. But your perspective of what you see in the person is different from what he sees in the person. They have been friends for years before you came along. So how can you expect for him to not realistically expect for him to just completely dump it to the curb? He could have probably eventually dumped it to the curb, but it took time to do that, probably. Okay. So you really wasn't in love with him enough to do that. You just loved him to well, you're probably in it for a good reason then, because you didn't love him enough to understand and stick to, and this is what some words that Lavender loved. You didn't love him enough to stick by your man. Okay.
Well, you know what? You know what it is. We got 2 minutes, and Brenda, we're going to leave on a good note because Alonzo left a message. He says, she sounds like my kind of woman.
Ooh, we might have found love, Lavender, between the two. Yeah. We might have found your husband, Brenda, with Alonzo. Wow.
Well, Alonzo's listening. So after talking to you, Vernon, Brenda probably doesn't have a good taste in her mouth. So you got to let this digest, Brenda. Let this digest. I'm sure you didn't come on thinking that you were going to be counseled about your situation.
No, Brenda know what time it is. Brenda one of the most realest women I know. She know what time it is. I don't have an issue with that. All right, yeah, Brenda. Thank you, sugar. I really appreciate you agreeing to come on. And we got to get out of here. We only got about 1 minute to go. Lavender, you can wrap it up and tell them about the Wind Down Wednesday and stuff.
Wind Down Wednesday, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. And like our Facebook page, Wind Down Wednesday with the Other Woman magazine.
Okay, what about the Other Woman magazine? You know what? We're going to have to give the Other Woman magazine some a courtesy copy. Brenda, are you subscribed to the Other Woman's magazine? Okay. Well, we got to get on the website and get you subscribed to it so you can start looking at the Other Woman's magazine. Give it the website, Brenda.
It's candypublishing.net, Brenda. Candypublishing.net, and you can click on the Other Woman magazine link. And you can also get a sneak peek of what's inside. There's a link there for you.
All right. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Lavender. Thank everybody for listening. We'll see you next week on Wednesday. Good night.